Why am I holding a pink elephant? I'll explain in just a moment. Hello and welcome to Cyber Life. My name is Ken Underhill, your host. In today's episode, we're going to talk about the elephant in the room, diversity. And we'd like to thank our sponsors for this episode, ByteCheck, which helps you with your cloud compliance, and Empower Her, which is an organization of women of color by women of color to help mentor you and help you grow your cybersecurity career. In fact, the founder of Empower Her is one of our guests in today's episode. Hello and welcome back to Cyber Life. My name is Ken Underhill, your host. In today's episode, I mentioned we're going to be speaking about diversity. So we're going to be speaking with a number of women in the industry, both women and women of color. And we're going to hear them share some of their experiences and some of the challenges that they faced. First up, we're going to speak with Tia Hopkins. Tia Hopkins is a vice president in the cybersecurity industry. She's also one of the founders of Empower Her Cybersecurity, which again is an organization that helps women of color get mentorship and helps them evolve and grow their cybersecurity careers. So Tia, I wanted to ask you, what are some of the challenges you face both as a woman and a woman of color in this industry?
So they are related. There's a list of things that are Tia that just make up this package of a number of reasons that you may or may not, accept me as I am when you initially meet me. So, I am female, I am Black. When I first entered into the space, I was young. I don't feel so young anymore. Obviously masculine of center, tattooed. And the list just goes on and on. So I wouldn't say I faced any direct or kind of in my face, aggression, disrespect, discrimination, but there was definitely microaggressions, some passive aggressive behaviors that I experienced. But I think, just to kind of give a couple of examples, the ones that stand out to me that I don't even think folks necessarily knew that they were doing these things to me. But when someone says something to me like, "Oh, you speak so well," and I'm like, is that supposed to be a compliment? What is it about me that made you think that you were going to get anything else, right? Or when I'm giving a presentation, if you watch a male, I've done it, I've watched males in the field give a presentation and you see lots of heads nodding, validation, yep, that's right, spot on, etc. When I give a presentation, I don't get that same level of, I guess you could say, buy-in. When I walk into the room or when I start a presentation, I actually have to warm an audience up. It's like, oh, we don't know what to expect, right? And so the looks go from, all right, well, let's see what she's got. All right, okay, this is interesting. And then you see it transition into, wow, this is better than I thought it'd be. And then, of course, the compliments come at the end, but you've seen these facial expressions, right, the entire time throughout the entire presentation. And so, I continue to be professional. I'm like, yeah, thanks. You have any questions, let me know. But in the back of my mind, sometimes it's, yeah, whatever. I shouldn't have had to go through that. But I would say that's what I experienced most frequently.
Tia, I also wanted to ask you about your organization, Empower Her. Can you share a little bit about what that organization is and what the mission is?
So Empower Cybersecurity, I founded in October. We actually launched October 1st as a nod to National Cybersecurity Awareness Month. And it really is an organization that is meant to be a safe space for women of color that are interested in or already in cybersecurity. So whether you've been doing it for 3 years, 5 years, or you're in school for it, or it sounds interesting, but you're not sure, we want to be a place where women can go to figure it out and not have all the pressure of having to have the right answers, or being concerned about asking the wrong person the wrong question and maybe damaging an opportunity, et cetera. And there's lots of organizations out there, don't get me wrong, and we are, open to partnering with organizations that are doing very specific things like providing training or doing conferences and things like that. We're really focused on the individual. Obviously, we provide access to resources. We have programs for the members to go through, but it really is about driving that confidence that if this is something that you're passionate about, you can be successful in the space. So it is about us just connecting with one another, making our networks work for us, and just driving more interest, driving more confidence, and building a more diverse pipeline, because a lot of women are self-selecting out of even pursuing cybersecurity as a career, much less than those that are already in it. and the more popular conversation, right, of self-selecting out of job opportunities or not applying for jobs because they don't check all the boxes. So we're trying to go even further back than that.
So Tia, I wanted to ask you, what can we do as individuals to help improve diversity in the tech industry?
I mean, as far as what I feel like I myself can do is representation. Part of it is, creating more of a perception that it is a real opportunity. If you go to these a lot of underrepresented rather communities, you find that a lot of kids or teenagers, even young adults, don't have access to the resources that would allow them to even get interested in a career in tech. And then for the ones that do, there aren't a lot of individuals that look like them that are successful, right? So then you have this double thing of, well, there's no one around me kind of pushing me to do this thing, and I don't really see anybody actually doing it. So maybe I should go do something else. But the more of us that are out there being representatives of the possibilities and also giving back, mentor, have conversations, debunk some of the myths, lower the barrier to entry, that's a start. And then once these individuals start to get some success, I firmly believe they'll turn around and want to do it for someone else, right? And it creates a domino effect that hopefully just grows and grows and grows. And someone asked me one day, what would I define as success for Empower Cybersecurity? And my answer to that is we don't need it anymore, right? We need to reinvent ourselves because this diversity issue is no longer an issue, and women feel confident to go be whoever they want to be and do whatever they want to do. And we don't have to make it such a concerted effort to say, hey, you can do this.
Excellent. Thank you for sharing that information, Tia. Again, all of us can do our part to help improve both diversity in individuals and also diversity in thought in the cybersecurity industry. Now, I'd like to speak with Brianah Lampkin. Brianah is a cybersecurity expert. She works for a company called Tanium right now. And I want to stress that the views expressed by these individuals on this episode are their personal views and not affiliated with any companies they work for or have worked for in the past. And similar with their experiences they might be sharing, this is not indicative of their current companies. So Brianah, I wanted to just get your thoughts around diversity and some of the challenges you see out there.
Well, after today's forum, I'm really feeling seen because they really highlighted that a lot. Of course, that was the purpose of it, to just get us more comfortable about talking about, the past, the present, and what we're implementing in the future as far as making changes to make us more comfortable as professionals in the workspace. And it's really no way to go about that comfort because I can't believe, I remember the quote, but someone today said you have to be comfortable being uncomfortable. And that's what it's like to be a person of color in the workplace. And it resonated with me on so many levels and volumes. I was just like, holy crap, because I constantly find myself looking for jobs and I'm hoping to see that I don't see a person of color sitting as the chair of diversity. And that's the only high position that a person of color, owns it within that company. And it's very discouraging just as a person of color, a Black woman, intersectionality, to go ahead and have really difficult conversations about wage, about work performance, how we're giving more titles and more job duties that are relative to our stereotypes, us being more nurturing, paying more attention to detail, and overloading us with those types of, work duties and functions when really we can do anything and then more. Like, as far as history is concerned, we are capable and have done so much more. So that to me is really something that I also like to tackle, and I see it being challenged a lot. And on platforms like LinkedIn, it just is a breath of fresh air again to just see us really coming together. That hashtag earlier this June, when everybody came together and was just uplifting each other, no matter what color you were, they were promoting each other. I saw so many people walk away with trophies and prizes as far as rewards and scholarships that should have really been given to them because they deserved it in the first place. Like, us having to close the gaps by overexerting ourselves and having to work and perform 2 times better than the other average person or, colleague, as far as them being white, no disrespect. I just, I see that. My partner actually, he works in finance at a big company, and we have conversations a lot us being home during this pandemic has really opened my eyes, because it's just in every industry. And he's like at the top to me, like reporting second to VP. And I'm just like, why, is your manager talking to you and digging in his ear and looking at it? Like, just the poise, the classisms, the disrespect, it's just those transgressions, no matter how micro or minute they may be, they're there, and we have to really pander to them just to go ahead and maintain some status or elevate ourselves. But overall, like, I want us to be more comfortable in our own skin, and it's just hard to do in an environment that just really is majority other, not us, or not supportive of us and as a whole, or not supportive of just individuality and race, creed, everything that they say in those equal rights.
Well, thank you so much, Brianna. I appreciate you sharing some of your experience and wisdom with us on the show. Now, I'd like to speak with another cybersecurity expert, Dell Jackson. Dell specializes in incident response and forensics. Dell, I wanted to ask you, have you experienced any challenges when you've interviewed for jobs?
There's a bias out there that when a man walks in and he is applying for a job, and you have a man and a woman, the man is looked at as a professional potential. He has professional potential. And a woman walks in and they immediately want to know what she's done in the past so that they can stick her back into her past, as if her future is not, that it's less than, so to speak. And I have encountered that on different occasions where, I've applied for a certain role. And I'll give you an example where I actually got sent, by mistake, I got sent the other people's resumes as I was going in for an interview. And I know that I, probably scored higher than these other people, but they hired the two men. They hired two men instead of the one person. And I know part of it was, I wouldn't say racially, because the guy that I interviewed with was from Germany, or he was somewhere from overseas. But I wouldn't say it was racial, but I did feel that they thought that men were going to be better at this job than a woman would. And so, yeah, we do. We go through that. And as a Black woman, I've walked into, and this is for a police department, I walked into there and there was not another Black person, not from the time I walked in the building until the time I walked out, did I see another Black person in there. I mean, and that doesn't bother me. It really doesn't bother me until after hindsight, I'm like, dang, it wasn't no other Black people in there. But yeah, I walked in there and everybody became immediately disinterested. It was huge. Like I felt like I was walking into this thick mist and I was just trying to cut my way through, because they did. They just basically kind of turned their back. The one guy was on his phone during the whole interview, and there was like 5 people on the panel. And I was just like, oh my. So I went through with it. I should have got up and left. If I knew what I know now, I would have got up and just left. But it's there. And I don't know how we're going to get past it. I just really don't. We're going to have our allies. There'll be people like you, and there's another couple of groups that I'm in. We have some serious allies in here to help women and Black women, or women of color, because it's not just Black women, but women of color, make their way through, because we need both the male and the female perspective when we go into this cybersecurity stuff.
Dell, I also wanted to ask you, have you ever experienced a past environment that might have been a little challenging for you as a woman or woman of color?
And I'm not going to make it like I've faced this huge amount of racism or discrimination, but I have been in some jobs where, even in my accounting job, when some of the VPs would come down, I'm in there to do accounting, and they would automatically assume, because you're the woman, let me tell you what I want for lunch. And I'm like, let me give you a menu that has the number, and you can order your own stuff. And I didn't know they were VPs. I mean, that's just me. I'm just like, hey, this is what we do here. You need something. If I have the menu, I'll give you the menu. Just order it. They'll bring it to you. And they just kind of, and I think it was just, I don't know. I've encountered that a couple of times. And it just makes you just be like, oh. So you don't want to, you don't want to take like too bad of an attitude. You got to kind of try to, let it go off. But I wound up leaving that job. I did wind up leaving with no notice because of the treatment. I mean, they would make jokes about women in there. They would make jokes about Hispanic people. And I was like, I've just had enough. I've had enough. And when you complain, I probably would have been fired anyway. So I just left. So it was a good experience though, because I really did like that, that I had my work to do and I was kind of left to do my work. So that was a good part about accounting. And it was numbers. I like numbers.
Dell, I wanted to ask you, do you have any final thoughts around diversity for the audience?
I don't know. I think the only other thing that I'd want to share that I would want, people in the companies or whatnot, I think you need to understand that in order for us, especially with this breach and all the stuff that just happened with the government, you're going to need the male brain and the female brain. When you bring those two brain sets, those mindsets together, what happens is phenomenal. I mean, women think a certain way, and when a man thinks a certain way, you bring those two mindsets together and you can get a lot of things accomplished. And that's probably the thing that I would like to leave people with, mix it up, get it all in there, mix it all up, and come out with something great.
Thank you, Dell, for sharing that information. Again, we still have a long ways to go to work on diversity in this industry. In today's episode, we spoke about the pink elephant in the room, diversity. We spoke with some young women in the industry from various backgrounds about some of the challenges that they faced, both as women and women of color in this industry. It's important for us to work together. No one wins this battle alone. We need more diversity in the cybersecurity industry, and we need more diversity of thought as well. If you're out there watching this episode from any background and you're interested in cybersecurity, visit cyberlife.tv to learn a little bit more. Also, find us on LinkedIn at CyberLife TV, or myself, Ken Underhill, on LinkedIn as well. You can also visit our YouTube channel at CyberLife TV and visit our Twitter account as well. We really want to get you plugged in to learn about cybersecurity because there's a lot of different roles you can do, and we can take anyone from different backgrounds. I myself came from a background in nursing. I have friends that came from accounting backgrounds, and even a magician, right? A magician. So anyone can do cybersecurity, anyone can learn it. So if you're interested in it, be sure to visit cyberlife.tv to learn more about the industry.